Hello everyone. Each day in reporting neuropathology is interesting, and on one fine day I came across a very interesting case which I will be sharing with you today. So this is a 52-year-old man who presented with sudden onset of giddiness, left upper and lower limb weakness, slurred speech, deviation of angle of mouth to the left. There was no vomiting, seizures, or any other comorbidities. MRI revealed an ill-defined round to oval intraaxial altered signal intensity lesion measuring 3.6 into 2.7 into 2.6 centimeters in the right corona radiata and gangliocapsular region, causing effacement of adjacent cortical sulcal spaces with mass effect on ipsilateral lateral ventricle. Significant perilesional edema involving adjacent right frontoparietotemporal lobes, bilateral gangliocapsular regions, and right half of midbrain, pons, and medulla. On T1 weighted images, it was hypointense, and T2 weighted, it was heterogeneously hyperintense. Now, on imaging, it was suggested possibility of brain metastasis or primary malignant neoplasm. So this is the gross which we received in our lab. And histopathology revealed a necrotic lesion showing presence of cysts and trophozoites which were surrounding the blood vessels. So these are the cysts and the trophozoites you can appreciate here. These structures here. So the cysts have two walls, wrinkled fibrous outer exocyst and inner endocyst, and that appears hexagonal, spherical, or star-shaped. Refractive granules may be present in the inner wall with no pores, and these may be uninucleate or multinucleate. The trophozoites are pleomorphic with long pseudopodia, and these may be uninucleate or binucleate with multiple nucleoli in the infected. We rendered a diagnosis of acanthamoeba infection suggestive of Balamuthia mandrillaris. And unfortunately, this turned out to be fatal and the patient passed away in next 15 days. Balamuthia is a free-living amoeba that causes the rare but deadly neurological condition, granulomatous amoebic encephalitis, GAE. Balamuthia mandrillaris is a soil-dwelling amoeba and was first discovered in 1986 in the brain of mandrill that died in San Diego Wild Animal Park. The generic name Balamuthia was given by Govinda Vishveshwarya after his mentor, the parasitologist William Balamuth, for his contributions in research of amoeba. Visvesvaraya isolated and studied the pathogen for the first time in 1993. So it causes indolent progression initially over weeks to months and is usually fatal with 90% mortality. It is isolated from soil, dust, fresh water. Human exposure is common, but infection is rare. It is found in patients with immunocompromised status such as HIV, those who have undergone organ transplants, or those who are on steroids or malignancy. So in this case, when we saw this acant amoeba, we tried to dig into the history because this patient is from far off. So we could not directly contact the patient. We called the hospital and we asked them whether there is any history of immunocompromised status, whether the patient is retropositive. But somehow we couldn't get a positive history at that time until I had a presentation. So I thought of presenting this unusual case in the conference. So I asked for the pictures of the all the IPD papers, and there somewhere it was, at one end written that the patient is retropositive. So communication between the consultant and the pathologist is very important in such cases. So now what are the sites affected are skin, brain and spinal cord. That means it is mainly affects the nervous system. It is a neurotropic organism, and in CNS it presents as granulomatous amoebic encephalitis or meningoencephalitis, and it is caused through the hematogenous spread from the skin or the nasal passages. Imaging findings of amoebic meningoencephalitis are non-specific, and uh, they may present as hemorrhagic meningoencephalitis and its associated complications. The earliest stages often appear normal. Leptomeningeal enhancement, although diffuse subarachnoid hemorrhage is often also present. Brain edema and associated hydrocephalus is present. Multiple cerebral infarcts may be noted along with necrosis. CSF findings. Although lumbar puncture is generally contraindicated in patients with those who present with focal intracranial lesion, when CSF is obtained, we may find glucose levels are usually low, proteins are moderately high, and lymphoplasmacytes are noted in the CSF, and PCR can render a diagnosis of Acanthamoeba or Balamuthia. So what is diagnostic? Biopsy is diagnostic, that is identification of cysts or trophozoites in the brain or skin. RT-PCR for Balamuthia and its morphologic mimics such as Naegleria fowleri and Acanthamoeba species. And also the serum can be subjected to indirect immunofluorescent assessment. Treatment includes combination of antiparasitic and antifungal drugs such as miltefosine in combination with drugs such as flucytosine, pentamidine, fluconazole, sulfadiazine, and either erythromycin or clarithromycin. If you find this case interesting, please like the video and share this video with your colleagues. Thank you very much.